What triggered this rift, Gil? Indeed, it was the catalyst for this separation. Absolutely. It was Vanessa who led to the division, necessitating their exit. Many fans are now aware that Kobe Bryant's parents never approved of Vanessa, but the reasons are finally being revealed, and it goes deeper than anyone anticipated. They claim that Vanessa was the catalyst for Kobe's estrangement from his family, allowing her to dominate his life entirely. I've gathered all the facts, and believe me, it's quite complicated. Let's dissect it. The roots of animosity, where affection morphed into conflict. This tale unfolds in the late 1990s, during which Kobe Bryant was making a name for himself as one of the league's most exciting young stars. Kobe, raised in a lineage of basketball, with his dad, Joe "Jellybean" Bryant, having played in the NBA, enjoyed a deep connection with his family. They had wholeheartedly backed his remarkable decision to leap straight from high school into the professional league, creating a supportive atmosphere as they all aimed for basketball excellence together. However, that pivotal moment came in November 1999 when Kobe crossed paths with Vanessa Lane during the filming of a music video for the EC Daz, shifting the course of his life entirely. At merely 17, she was a high schooler moonlighting as a background dancer, while Kobe, at 21, was an emerging force in the NBA. Their chemistry ignited instantly, evolving into what many would eventually call a fervent romance that set off warnings among Kobe's family from the outset. The scandal of their meeting stemmed not solely from their age gap, which certainly caught attention, but also from all that Vanessa symbolized to Joe and Pamela Bryant. With her Mexican and Irish heritage, Vanessa embodied qualities that Kobe's parents had hoped to avoid in a potential daughter-in-law. Multiple insiders familiar with the family have revealed that Joe and Pam held strong opinions about the ideal match for their son, which did not encompass a young Latina girl lacking ties to affluence or prominence. The swift progression of Kobe and Vanessa's romance heightened these anxieties. By May 2000, merely half a year after their introduction, Kobe popped the question to Vanessa on her 18th birthday. This moment signified a living nightmare for Joe and Pamela Bryant. Their son, not even 21 yet, was hastily pursuing marriage with someone they considered entirely inappropriate. Yet that was just the tip of the iceberg. The core problem that would taint the Bryant family legacy for years ahead was anchored in issues far more troubling than merely age or social standing. Various testimonies from friends and media sources suggest that Joe and Pamela had reservations about Vanessa, primarily due to her non-African American heritage, reflecting their desire for Kobe to choose a partner from his own racial group. This went beyond mere cultural choice. It was a clear instance of racial bias. A report from 2020 highlighted Joe's dismissal as being rooted in Vanessa's Mexican background, with family acquaintances asserting that this was a painful element affecting family relationships. The fallout from this rejection was profoundly impactful on all parties, especially for a young woman who simply fell in love with their son. The Bryant parents' disapproval escalated into frantic efforts to manage their son's relationship. Insider accounts indicate that Joe and Pamela preferred Kobe to be involved with someone more socially prominent, believing he was too immature for serious commitment. They regarded the relationship as hasty and overly intense, with Kobe being portrayed as obsessively infatuated with Vanessa, potentially jeopardizing his bright future in basketball. By this moment, he was approaching adulthood. You might say, son, I doubt she intended grown. A good portion of the team has been with her, but if he truly loved her, you could imply a certain something. The tension escalated when Kobe and Vanessa revealed their engagement. They tied the knot on April 18, 2001, at St. Edward the Confessor Catholic Church in Dana Point, California. In a gathering that saw only around a dozen attendees, the absence of Kobe's parents, Joe and Pam Bryant, stood out alongside his sisters Sharia and Shia. This was not merely a matter of conflicting schedules or familial discord. Instead, it represented a conscious, strategic slight that conveyed a potent message to all. The Bryant family disapproved of this marriage, willing to subject their own son to public disgrace to underline their stance. Kobe's wedding, marked by the absence of his family, was merely the start of a profound 2-year estrangement that wounded him deeply. Following the nuptials in 2001, this discontent led to a lengthy separation, with only a brief reconciliation occurring after Natalia's birth in 2003. A striking instance illustrating this rift unfolded during one of Kobe's career's most celebrated moments. After the Lakers triumphed over the Philadelphia 76ers in the 2001 NBA Finals, held in his own hometown, his parents chose not to join the festivities, allegedly due to their disapproval of Vanessa. An unforgettable image from that night captures Kobe's downcast expression despite the win, symbolizing the disconnect he experienced from his family. Consider this for a second. A young man had reached one of the pinnacle accomplishments in professional basketball, securing an NBA championship right in his hometown. Yet his parents chose not to share in his joy, solely due to their disdain for his wife. The implication was unmistakable. Their animosity towards Vanessa overshadowed their pride in their son's success. The financial aspects exacerbated the issue even further. From the beginning, Kobe had been financially supporting Vanessa's family, which allegedly caused tension with his own parents. Joe and Pamela Bryant observed their son purchasing homes and supporting his wife's relatives while they increasingly felt sidelined and financially reliant. This sparked a rivalry, with both families feeling slighted, turning each financial choice into a test of familial allegiance. The ongoing sentiment, whether justified or not, suggested that Vanessa's family enjoyed favored treatment, while Kobe's parents seemed to be held to a different benchmark. If the parents disagree, which they might, as Shamaria is young and a prenup is advisable, the dad, an ex-NBA player, shares wisdom with his son. If his girlfriend senses disapproval from his parents, what challenges will arise when they tie the knot? What does the girlfriend signify where the wife now represents? The wife's stance is clear: I won't interfere with them. Over time, the divide between Kobe and his parents grew even wider. The brief mending of their relationship following Natalia's arrival turned out to be merely fleeting. Yet this marked merely the onset. The true tumult was still ahead. A treachery so deep and so visible that it irreparably fractured the fragile ties of the Bryant family. The final act of betrayal, where parents turned adversaries. By 2013, Kobe and Vanessa had navigated countless challenges that would have broken many unions. They weathered the storm of Kobe's 2003 sexual assault claim in Colorado, where he acknowledged infidelity but rejected any notion of assault. Now, I find myself reflecting and feeling quite amused, yet also enraged at my own foolishness. I admit to my fault in being unfaithful. My affection for my wife runs deep. She is my pillar of strength. The controversy exposed infidelity, putting pressure on the marriage, yet Vanessa remained publicly supportive. This ordeal challenged not just Kobe and Vanessa's union, but also the delicate harmony with his parents. Kobe subsequently connected a 2005 miscarriage to the pressures stemming from the legal situation, underscoring the heavy burden that public exposure and courtroom struggles imposed on their young family. The manner in which they managed this turmoil shed light on their relationships. Vanessa consistently stood strong next to Kobe at media events and judicial proceedings, while his parents offered more intermittent and subtle backing. This era revealed that although Natalia's arrival had momentarily mended the rift, the underlying stability of the family connections was still fragile. They had achieved harmony again after Vanessa. In 2011, she sought a divorce, claiming insurmountable differences fueled by allegations of Kobe's infidelities, but later retracted the divorce and recommitted. In 2013, yet, as Kobe and Vanessa worked on restoring their marriage and family unit, his relationship with his parents was on the verge of enduring an irreparable setback. What unfolded next would reveal the profound resentment that Joe and Pamela Bryant harbored toward their daughter-in-law, as well as their perceived right to benefit from their son's financial achievements. In 2013, Joe and Pam Bryant sought to auction off Kobe's high school memorabilia and championship rings without his consent, allegedly to support their extravagant lifestyle and acquire a new residence. We're not discussing mere dusty trophies abandoned in a corner. This was a treasure trove valued at over $450,000, featuring items of significant personal and monetary worth that symbolize Kobe's evolution from high school sensation to NBA icon. The sheer boldness of this action is significant. Envision realizing that your beloved parents had sold your dearest belongings, treasures symbolizing your dedication, accomplishments, and hardships, all without a single call to seek your consent. For Kobe, this transcended mere loss. It was a profound rupture of trust. The subsequent legal conflict unfolded quickly and resolutely. Kobe took legal action against them and the auction house, ultimately reaching a settlement outside of court, but the harm to their bond remained beyond repair. What intensified the anguish of the situation? It was the backdrop connected to it. This wasn't merely a scenario of needy parents battling to survive financially. For years, Kobe had been their financial backbone. The publicized legal battle turned the private aspects of the Bryant family's financial dealings into sensational gossip for tabloids. Joe and Pam released a public statement expressing their remorse, saying, "We are sorry for our actions and comments regarding the Kobe Bryant auction memorabilia. We regret any confusion and the unintentional hurt we have inflicted on our son, and we value the financial assistance he has given us throughout the years." However, for Kobe, this apology fell short and arrived too late. The hurt ran too deep. In a candid 2016 ESPN interview that gained notoriety for its brutal sincerity, Kobe revealed his true feelings about his parents' actions and the condition of their relationship. Kobe shared with ESPN, "Our bond is problematic. I offered to purchase you an exquisite house, yet you reply that it's insufficient. Then you go and sell my worries." This wasn't mere frustration. Years of building frustration and disillusionment finally erupted. Kobe's statements unveiled a troubling trend in behavior that extended well beyond the auction event. The sale of memorabilia was merely the most recent of many instances in which Kobe sensed his parents saw him as a source of cash rather than as their child. The financial relationships within the Bryant family had always been intricate, But the incident in 2013 laid bare the harsh reality of Joe and Pamela's perception of their son's achievements. Kobe, landing his initial NBA deal at just 17 and earning millions before reaching the legal drinking age, had provided financial support for his family for quite some time. However, there was an increasing belief that his parents believed they deserved a greater share. They seemed to perceive his accomplishments as reflective of their own and felt entitled to enjoy the fruits of his labor, irrespective of their relationship dynamics. There's nothing I dislike more than ingratitude. By the way, I met Steph Curry. I attended the games on Saturday. The auction of memorabilia emerged as a stark representation of the family's underlying issues. It transcended mere financial motives. It delved into themes of dignity, limits, and the crucial dilemma of whether Joe and Pam valued Kobe as their child or merely as a source of income. Their decision to hawk possessions without his consent implied the latter, a revelation that deeply wounded Kobe. Amidst these tensions, Vanessa Bryant faced mounting challenges in her situation. She was contending with not just the constant disapproval of Kobe's parents, but also managing the intricate relations within a family that frequently held her responsible for shaping Kobe's choices about finances and familial ties. There was a significant catalyst for this turmoil. Indeed, it was Vanessa who instigated a rift. Numerous former teammates and friends of Kobe have identified Vanessa as the key factor contributing to the family's discord. The discussion posits that when parents reject their child's partner and the partner realizes this disapproval, a tension arises where the partner starts to view the parents as obstacles to the relationship. This viewpoint implies that Vanessa, sensing the animosity and racial bias from Kobe's family, essentially compelled him to decide between his wife and his family. Confronted with this dilemma, Kobe opted for Vanessa, a choice his parents could never accept, leading to a complete severance. The fallout from the memorabilia controversy was immediate and harsh. Although a legal resolution was achieved, it resulted in an extended period of 3 years with no interaction between Kobe and his parents. This wasn't merely a short break. It marked a definitive break in relations that would last until Kobe hung up his sneakers for good. The very public conflict also impacted Kobe's career. His parents were conspicuously missing from his last NBA game in 2016, an occasion meant for family joy, but instead underscored the deepening divide. The imagery was striking. One of the NBA's all-time legends was facing off in his last match, yet his parents chose not to show up. The nature of the financial disagreement unearthed some harsh realities regarding the dynamics of celebrity families. Years prior, Kobe had withdrawn financial assistance from his sister to promote independence, believing his parents were asking for more than was fair. This wasn't merely frugality. It was about setting limits and making sure that familial bonds weren't just about transactions. The emotional strain of the estrangement was palpable in Kobe's public remarks and actions during that time. This was a man who had attained every possible success in his career, yet was grappling with the deep sorrow of being disconnected from his own parents. Their choice to prioritize financial gain over their bond with him left a lasting scar. However, another angle to this heartbreak is the viewpoint of Joe and Pamela Bryant. Were they merely avaricious parents looking to exploit their son's achievements? Or were they unwitting victims of a circumstance that unraveled beyond anyone's grasp? Some commentators have suggested that Joe and Pamela were trapped in a dire predicament. They raised a son who became one of the most renowned athletes ever, yet felt increasingly alienated from his life due to their disdain for his spouse. The death dollars and the final reckoning. The helicopter crash on January 26, 2020, which took the lives of Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others, was a moment that should have united the fractured Bryant family in sorrow. After all, death often clarifies trivial quarrels and highlights what is essential. However, for the Bryant family, even such a profound tragedy could not bridge the deep divide created by years of financial disagreements, racial strife, and bruised egos. In the time leading up to his untimely passing, Kobe was said to be striving to reconcile with his parents, driven by his faith and familial principles. However, the tragic accident abruptly halted this journey toward resolution. This detail deepens the family narrative, hinting that reconciliation could have been within reach if only circumstances had permitted. Following the tragedy, Joe and Pam Bryant were present at the memorial service, though they refrained from making any remarks during the event. Their attendance bore substantial meaning. It revealed that even after long periods apart, family ties remained, albeit heavily tested. At the memorial, Vanessa shared an incredibly heartfelt speech, one of the most poignant ever heard at such events. Kobe was celebrated as an intense athlete on the court, regarded as the GOAT, a champion, an Oscar recipient, and a Black Mamba. Yet to me, he was simply Kobe, my sweetie, my little one, my beloved Chulo. Her address stood out not just for its raw sincerity, but also for illuminating the depth of her bond with Kobe. She shared their aspirations for a future that would tragically remain unfulfilled. Kobe envisioned a vow renewal for them. He dreamed of Natalia stepping into his shoes at the helm of his business, and he longed to explore the globe hand in hand. We often imagine ourselves as the playful grandparents to our grandchildren. Kobe's parents must have experienced a mix of solace and sorrow while listening to the speech, reflecting on the life their son had crafted and the aspirations he had disclosed to Vanessa. It served as a poignant reminder of the countless moments they had lost and the grandchildren they hardly knew because of their years apart. Following Kobe's death, rumors circulated that his parents were excluded from any inheritance, as his assets were largely designated for Vanessa and their daughters. This situation sparked persistent debates and public scrutiny aimed at Vanessa, as many questioned if she held a moral duty to aid Kobe's parents despite their past grievances. Kobe's will was set up as a family trust, allocating his estate solely to Vanessa and their children, Natalia, Bianca, and Capri, with no mention of his parents or sisters. This wasn't an accident or a minor legal issue. It was a conscious choice that underscored the nature of their bond at the moment of his passing. His parents' omission from his will caused a stir within the basketball world and reignited discussions around family duties, racial fidelity, and the intricate relationships surrounding celebrity finances. Kobe's estate, valued at approximately $600 million, had expanded after his death through various investments and brand partnerships. The reality that his parents would receive none of this wealth sparked significant debate and blame directed mainly towards Vanessa. The strain on Joe and Pam Bryant's finances surfaced soon after Kobe's passing. In March 2024, they put up Kobe's 2000 NBA championship ring, originally a gift to Joe, for auction. It fetched $927,000, inciting backlash from fans and the press alike, as it damaged the sentiment involved. Here stood Kobe's own parents, parting with his championship keepsakes, while his widow possessed the wealth that could have shielded them from this predicament. They were destitute, devoid of funds. You might not feel anger at their decision to sell the ring, as the inheritance wasn't theirs. They were in need. The auction ignited intense discussions, with views split along racial and cultural divides. Some voices, especially from the African-American community, raised doubts about Vanessa's ethical responsibilities towards Kobe's parents. Ex-NBA player Gilbert Arenas came to Joe Bryant's defense, pointing to financial pressures and holding Vanessa accountable for not stepping in to reclaim the ring, insinuating that she was in charge of the family's finances. One of the most outspoken and contentious critiques emerged from Dr. Umar Johnson, a well-known black activist and psychologist. He gained attention for his stern judgment of Vanessa's choices. During a June 2024 interview, Johnson condemned Vanessa for reportedly failing to offer any financial assistance to Kobe's parents, even after receiving a substantial share of his estimated $600 million estate. Mark poses a question for Vanessa. Will you cover the expenses for that man's farewell ceremony? I'm not saying anything different, but I'm confident that Shaquille O'Neal, along with Kobe's close friends and fellow stars, will ensure he is honored properly. I truly have faith in that. However, Vanessa, I think it's your duty to ensure that Kobe's father is also taken care of as he should be. Will you take on that responsibility? Now let's explore this a bit more, Art. Kobe's mother remains active. She continues to be among us. Vanessa Bryant, will you look after Kobe's mom? Johnson's remarks were especially sharp and laden with racial undertones. Are you seriously saying you lack the decency to provide his parents with $1 million each? They are elderly and in need of financial support. I've heard that Vanessa Bryant isn't contributing anything, according to Johnson. He connected this to larger issues of black wealth preservation, charging Vanessa, a Mexican-American, with failing to leverage Kobe's riches for the benefit of the black community. The racial implications of Johnson's remarks are significant. His assertions mirror previous criticisms, suggesting that Joe and Pam's disapproval of Vanessa was influenced by her Mexican background and a desire for Kobe to choose a partner within the African-American community. This brought the narrative back to the very tensions that had split the family over 20 years ago. The tragedy deepened with the passing of Joe Bryant on July 16, 2024, at 69, due to a stroke. Vanessa took the news of his death with composure, but her words revealed deep feelings. We felt a profound sorrow at Joe's departure. We wish circumstances had allowed for a different outcome. Despite our limited time with him, he consistently brought warmth and kindness. Kobe held a great affection for him. Vanessa's remarks were seen by some as a veiled critique of the family, indicating lingering tensions beneath a facade of politeness. Her words, wishing things might have turned out differently, are especially striking, implying that real healing or resolution remained absent, even after death. In the wake of Joe's passing, Dr. Umar Johnson intensified his criticisms, now directing attention to Vanessa's responsibilities toward the other family members. He publicly insisted that Vanessa must support Kobe's mother and cover his father's funeral costs, claiming she had a duty to aid the family responsible for the success that brought her wealth. The backlash wasn't confined to activists and past players. Social media transformed into a battleground where fans debated Vanessa's ethical responsibilities against her legal entitlements. Many posts highlighted cultural norms surrounding family loyalty, with statements like, "Without Kobe Bryant's parents, Kobe wouldn't exist," serving as rallying cries for those who feel Vanessa should divide her fortune. However, Vanessa had her supporters, who argued that Kobe's deliberate choice to cut his parent from his will, owing to their previous actions, should be honored. Statements asserting that Vanessa Bryant shouldn't be held accountable for Kobe Bryant's failure to care for his parents highlighted the tension between legal rights and societal norms. The intricacies of the matter deepen when we recognize that Vanessa encountered analogous challenges with her own relatives. In December 2020, her mother, Sophia Lane, filed a lawsuit against her for $5 million, alleging that Kobe had guaranteed her lifetime support and that Vanessa had forced her out posthumously. Vanessa deemed the lawsuit a baseless attempt at extortion, refuting the claims and asserting that her mother had only sporadically provided childcare. The similarities between the two familial conflicts were notable. Two parents, or guardians, believing they deserved monetary assistance from Kobe's inheritance, faced opposition from Vanessa. This trend indicated that the conflicts weren't solely tied to racial or cultural factors. Instead, they revolved around wider themes of familial duty and financial expectations amid celebrity affluence. She persisted. Clearly, significant missteps or misguided decisions must have led to their daughter evicting them from her home and reclaiming their car. When we look at this sorrowful event from a wider lens, a number of harsh realities come to light. Firstly, the strife within the Bryant family was not born from a loss. Rather, it was laid bare by it. The long-standing financial conflicts, racial divides, and struggles for power within the family persisted in a different guise following Kobe's departure. Secondly, this narrative highlights the intricate relationships between race, wealth, and familial duties present in American culture. Vanessa faced scrutiny not merely for her personal decisions, but for wider issues of racial allegiance and obligations to her community. Her identity as Latina, as opposed to African American, intensified the complexity of these debates. Additionally, the narrative underscores the difficult situation that partners of celebrities frequently encounter following their loved one's passing. While some chastised Vanessa for allegedly withholding more of Kobe's fortune from his relatives, others lauded her for safeguarding her daughter's legacy. Each choice she faced was examined under the weight of societal norms and public judgment. Tragically, the narrative highlights how pride and bias can fracture even the most resilient. Familial ties. The challenges within the Bryant family originated from societal disdain for their interracial union, spiraling into years of monetary conflicts and personal treachery. When death finally emerged, the scars were far too profound to mend, and the cycles too ingrained to dismantle. Ex-NBA player Sebastian Telfair, who likewise battled family issues concerning his spouse, voiced the exasperation that many shared regarding the ordeal. His genuine feelings reveal the confusion that numerous individuals experience when witnessing families disrupted by such conflicts. I often tell folks, listen, life holds more significance than any of this. A game of basketball, it's not about him choosing to play well or making the right choices in sport. If he doesn't do what I expect, I won't abandon him. The concluding parts of this narrative are still being written as we speak. By 2025, following Joe Bryant's passing and the absence of any public resolution between Vanessa and Pam Bryant, the family's disagreements have mostly escaped media scrutiny. Vanessa is now dedicated to nurturing her daughters and honoring Kobe's legacy via the Mamba and Mamba Cedar Sports Foundation. If you enjoyed this, click one of the cards displayed to explore further.